Okay, you are probably just barely going to be able to see me. It's, I don't know, maybe 20 after 7, and I have had an excruciating track through a cornfield. This is my second deer. So now I filled all my doe tags. This deer right here, there she is. This one I got with my muzzleloader, and it's the first time I've killed a lot of deer with my muzzleloader, and this is the first one I've shot with my muzzleloader in quite a few seasons. I'm trying to think, when was the last one I got with my muzzleloader? It might have been 4 seasons ago. I really enjoy muzzleloader hunting. This was a good hunt. It was a good setup. I'd come up during the week with the landowner. We've both been sitting out. It's getting towards it's October 25th, second last day of early muzzleloader season here for me. That's also still archery season. And I had sat up in a tree stand, an observation stand I use it as, really, on top of the hill that's behind me here, from where I'm standing. And I was watching deer for quite a few nights this week. I've watched these deer come out in the same spot every night. They're coming out they're eating the winter wheat, and they're also eating the corn. And this corn is decimated. It is absolutely decimated. But the deer were coming out in the same spot. So I made a plan tonight to come out in a big loop. So I wouldn't leave a scent trail. I wouldn't push my wind towards where they were coming out. I went round in a big circle. I parked the ATV all the way at the other end of the farm, almost at the highway, and I made a big loop over the 2 cornfields. The fields here are striped, so one is corn, then it was cut soybean, which is now wheat, then another strip of corn, then another strip of soybean, then the woods. So I sat along the edge of the corn. I sat like a row inside the edge of the corn, and I watched the deer, watched along the whole edge of the wood line there. And I seen one small deer came out, and I passed her, just too small. So I was looking for, the big size doe. So I couldn't take a buck with my muzzleloader here. I can only shoot a doe for early muzzleloader. It's an antlerless hunt only, and I knew that. So the deer actually came out right to they came out right to my left from where I was sitting. I was expecting them to come from my right, so I had my gun and everything set up to, facing my right side, and then the deer came out to my left side. So I had my nice fancy bog pod and everything all set up, sitting and waiting. And then I watched the deer come out of the edge of the woods. The deer walked pretty much diagonally straight to me. She was walking almost straight at me. And she came to the middle of the field, which gave me about a 55-yard shot. She turned broadside. She was eating the wheat. She turned broadside. I put it right in her front shoulder and just squeezed the shot off. And I heard the bullet hit her. Of course, you can't see anything with a muzzleloader. Anyone who shoots a muzzleloader knows that you just see a big puff of smoke. And then I heard her run up into the corn, but that which was behind me. And she was like bulldozing through the corn. And then I heard her getting slower and slower and slower. And eventually I just heard her crash. And then it went completely quiet. She never made it out of the corn, so... But unfortunately, the corn is super dry. It's beat down. The wind has it beat down. The rows are really tight. It's hard to see the rows. I just barely. What I've been doing is basically grid searching the corn, carefully walking through it. I checked all the cut fields around, and there was no sign of the deer. So I knew if I had hit her, she was going to be laying in the corn. And it is hard to track in tightly packed corn rows. Didn't see much sign where I hit her. The dirt is so dry, it's like a sponge. So if blood had hit the ground, it would have just soaked right into it, and you'd never freaking see it. The crop fields are so dry here. It's like talcum powder, the dirt. But I found her. I'm glad I found her. I was starting to sweat a little bit, but you can see here, You see my shot there. Let's see where she at. If I get a good shot. There we go. See my shot there. That's the entry hall. She was quartering to me a little bit, so now the work starts. Oh boy. Deer number 2. So I'm super pleased. Super pleased. I love hunting with my muzzleloader. My father-in-law got me into hunting with a muzzleloader. I have also killed deer too at flintlocks. This was an inline at my 50 cal inline, but I really do enjoy hunting muzzleloaders. All right, let's get the deer tagged and we'll get her moved out of the field here. Okay, here's where I have my rifle propped up here. See, I left my orange hat on it there. So this is exactly where I was sitting along the edge of the field. You can see I have my four-wheeler parked down there. So if you look this way, I just dragged the deer straight out of the corn. So she's right there. So she literally circled it like back in behind me. Originally when I shot her, she was standing out in the middle of the field right about there. So that worked out. Another short after work hunt. Me and my boss were just laughing the other day. If you look, I still have my work shirt on. Again, see there's the logo. You can see the logo. I hate to, kind of down you scent lock guys, but this uniform smells like engine oil and transmission fluid and gasoline. So it probably smells like a tractor. So effectively, it's like wearing scent lock. But I was just lucky. I played the wind direction and I just sat in an area where I knew that where the deer were coming out, that I was, made 100% sure that I was downwind from them. Sometimes you just get lucky. I do think scent control, especially for archery hunting, is very important. With the muzzleloader, you got a little bit more range. You can reach out there and touch one, I'm pretty confident with this muzzleloader. Out to about 150 yards, I can make a decent shot as long as I have a good rest. But I'm really pleased to get that deer with the old smoke pole. All right, let's get to work. And now at the hard part of the hunting season, trying to get a buck to come out during the daylight and come within archery range. All right, let's get busy.